But then also, how are you when the obstacles come your way? What do you do? And I truly believe those are the two things that got that dude elected. They made it about the people, and the Democratic Party didn't with regards to not having a primary. So the people never got to pick. And the attractive character. And I believe if you focus on becoming a much stronger, attractive character, having stronger positions, having a much stronger and more resilient disposition, I believe that the next 4 years will be amazing for you, regardless of who's in power, regardless of who's controlling the Senate, who's controlling the House. You can win.
This is Secrets for Success.
8 years ago today, I did a YouTube video titled, "What a Trump Presidency Will Mean for You." That was my third highest YouTube video that I've ever done. And here we are 8 years later, and I'm doing a very similar video. We just had history last night. For many of you, you're very excited about it. For many of you, you feel like it's the worst day of your life. So let's talk about it. And I truly want to make the next 4 years great for every single one of you. And so let's kind of discuss this. And I want to just tell you a few reasons why I feel like I am the person to talk about this. Number one is I'm an independent voter. I truly do believe that I come from this with a non-biased opinion as much as that can possibly be. I'm currently reading this book as well called Think Again. My wife got this for me from Adam Grant. She got this for my birthday. And it's the power of knowing what you don't know. And just, it's been teaching me over the last couple of weeks how to be willing to rethink your stance on certain things. And so yeah, you know, I feel like I can do this and do this good in a way that is not pro-Republican, pro-Democrat, it's pro-you. And that's what I want to do on this special podcast episode. So, as I said before, Trump is the second president to win non-consecutive terms. Grover Cleveland did that in 1884. He lost in 1888 and won again in 1892. Now, I wasn't around during those times, but I am going to assume that Donald J. Trump's a little bit more polarizing than Grover Cleveland. And I think there's a lot of things that we could learn from what just happened. Because this man 4 years ago was hated so much by so many people. And you know what's so crazy? He was loved by so many people before he ran for presidency in 2016, then became hated even more. And then over the last couple years, it's like people that hated him started to love him enough to where we are not even 12 hours from them calling the election or from even starting, and the election's been called. He blew Harris away. And so what the heck happened? And so I want to talk about that. So there's really two big points that I feel like we need to bring up because I want to make this about you. But the first point I want to just talk about, is the importance of making this about the people, okay? Like, I want to be able to take this and help you with making the next 4 years great for you. And I think the first point is making sure that whatever you do, don't do it with your interests in mind. Do it with the people's best interests in mind. And I will tell you, I'm not going to talk about Trump right now. I'm going to talk about what I saw happen with the Democratic Party. The people did not vote for that lady. Kamala Harris is a very intelligent woman, fantastic. Can talk with the best of them, okay? But here is the issue. By the way, I'm not saying she's not a credible candidate, but the Democratic people did not vote for her. That right there, already ruined democracy. The way it typically works is, and this is what happened in the Republican, primaries. There was a primary. You had DeSantis, you had, what's his name, Ramaswamy or something like that. You had all these different dudes, right? And these different, ladies, and you had Trump. And I think many of us thought, there's no way Trump's going to win this, but he did. because the people voted for him, okay? But on the Democratic side, you had Biden, and Biden had made a commitment. Initially, he had said after he became president, he was going to be a one-term president, but then decided, you know what, I can't make this man be in power, so I'm going to do this again. He, I think we can all agree, wasn't mentally and physically able to do this again, and he probably didn't want out, but they forced him out. But the people didn't vote for Harris. The Democratic establishment said, here, take her. So right there, the people didn't vote. Okay, so what's the thing you can learn from this? The thing you can learn from this is make the people vote. In your business, it's not about what you want, it's what the people want. So I don't know what they could have done different, but I know that what they did, wasn't it. Because what I saw over the last couple of weeks, and apparently what happened last night, and at least from the people that I know that are Democrats, people that I know are Republicans, I saw two different things. Pretty much all the Democrats, okay, and I have lots of family, I have lots of friends that are Democrats that voted for Harris. But they voted for Harris not because of Harris. They voted for Harris because they hate Trump. They hated him in 2016, they hate him in 2020, and they still hate him in 2024. And they voted for her because they hate him. And there was much more people in 2020 that voted for him because they hate him Biden, him Trump, okay? But this time around, there was less people that voted for her versus 2020 because they didn't hate him as much. And that is a huge thing, okay? That's a huge thing. So here's the deal. There was not, I personally believe, there was very few people that voted for Harris because they loved her as a person. They loved her disposition. They loved her position. I believe the majority of people that voted for Harris voted for her because they hate Trump's disposition and they hate his position. Tell me I'm wrong. And I think that that right there is enough of a gap in votes to have given him the presidency and given him the presidency handily. So what is the lesson we can learn from this? Make your people vote. Make your potential clients vote on what it is that they want in the marketplace from you. Listen to your clients of what it is that they're looking for. Make them vote. I believe we as entrepreneurs sometimes get into this trap of saying, I know what's best for my client. I know this client in and out, and I'm going to give them this. Let them vote. Let them help you. And I believe that that's the first place where it went wrong for the Dems. Okay, now let's talk about the second thing that I think that you can do to make the next 4 years great for you. And I truly believe this. I truly believe it's becoming the attractive character. I believe that Trump was a much stronger, attractive character than Harris. Now, when I say attractive character, I'm going to give you the definition here that I'm going to present to you. I'm not saying attractive and physically attractive. I think it's very clear that Trump ain't more attractive than Harris, okay? I think it's very clear that attractive character also doesn't mean that you're a nicer person per se, okay? But attractive character is the following, and I want you all, as long as you're not driving in your car, I want you to write this down. Attractive character equals position times disposition. Attractive character equals position times your disposition, okay? So let's talk about this because I truly believe that if you can say over the next 4 years, I am going to work on becoming a stronger, attractive character, I believe you will have options. I believe you will have I don't care who's in power. I believe you will have a lot of prosperity. You'll have a lot of impact. You'll have, I believe, a byproduct that will be a good amount of income will come your way. And you've got to focus on becoming the attractive character. And why do I feel so strongly about that? Because that is what I have done to allow me to be able to have the success that I have had in my entrepreneur journey. I believe I've become an attractive character. Okay, so what is an attractive character? Let's talk about position first. Position is that I stand for things and I am very strong in my stance. Okay, so what are the things that if someone said, if your name is Tina, where does Tina stand with this? And someone that is one of your fans, a follower, someone that rocks with you would say, Tina believes this, Tina believes that, Tina believes that. Can people say that about you? Can a lot of people say, it's very, very clear what Tina is saying or what Tina believes about this. You have to have a very, very, very strong position on whatever it is that you are positioning on. Here's what I saw in the election. Okay, I saw this time around, and I didn't, like, look, I'm not like some big researcher or whatnot, and like, I don't have my TV on CNN and Fox and MSNBC. Like, no, like, I decided I'm not going there because I'm trying to become an attractive character. I ain't worried about them, okay? But I know, I do know this. I did enough research to know that the biggest things that Trump did, okay, the biggest things that he did is his position was on three things this time around, okay? Three main things. His three main things were the three I's, okay? It was income, and understanding that people aren't making good money. It was inflation, that things are really, really, really expensive, and he blamed it all on the Democrats in the last 4 years, and illegal immigration, okay? Those were his three things that he talked about. And he said, listen, he threw rocks at enemies, says, hey, you know what? The illegals, they're taking your jobs. This, that, da, 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 da. China is taking this. China is taking that. Russia's taking this. Okay, Korea's taking that. Okay, I'm going to bring tariffs into play so that we can get the jobs back in America. That's what he did. He said, that's how you're going to make more money. We're going to get you to make more money. And we're going to bring down inflation. What? He had three main things that he positioned, okay? And it was clear. And you guys know he talks like a third grader. And everything is biggest and greatest and biggest and greatest and I'm the greatest and da, 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 da. Okay, and that's what he did. And it's very, very easy to follow him, okay? At his rallies, I can actually listen to a rally, right? And this guy's like, all he's doing is just giving stories and giving stories. And just all these people just stand there, just listen to it, right? But it's clear, it's concise, and he just says bigger and better and brighter and bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's it. And people go for it because he had a very clear position. What was Harris's position? I don't fully know. I know where she stands with a lot of things, and those things are very important to many of us. But I felt like most of the time when I saw the commercials on TV, most of the times I felt like her position was, I'm not him. And by the way, that worked well in 2020. I'm not him. And I know for many of you, her not being him and saying, I'm not going to act like that, I'm not going to have that disposition, was enough for you to vote for her. And good for you. But it wasn't enough for her to be able to win. So I want you guys to ask yourself, what is your position on the main things that your audience want? And it's not just having a position like, I want this, I want this, I want this. You have to throw rocks at the enemy. You have to do that. He does that very well. He's a little ratchet with it, but like, guys, you have to have a position of, I believe this, which means that I'm against that. And most people in business won't do that because they want everybody to love them. They want everybody to love them. So listen, whether it's Trump of 2024, Biden of 2020, Trump of 2016, Obama of 2012, Obama of 2008, nobody is winning 70-30. Nobody's winning 80-20. Okay, people are winning 52-48, 51-49, which means that half the people don't like you. Half the people did not vote for you. But that's still enough for you to become now the new leader of the free world. Will you do that? Will you have a position on something where you're like, I believe this, knowing that there are going to be probably more than half of the people. And by the way, in this case, as president, you need half the people. Okay, like you need that. You guys don't need half the people to agree with you. Okay, you don't need that. Many of you, if you had 100 to 500 customers, your life would be changed forever. You change your life, you change your offspring's life, you would change if you had 1,000, I mean, I have 5,000 customers, okay, that just have believed the thing that I do, and it's changed my life, my children's life, and probably at this point, it's going to change my children's life. That's what you need. You do not need 50% of the country to believe in your position. What is your position? I want you guys to focus on that over the next 4 years. I want you to focus on that over the next 4 minutes. I want you to focus on it over the next 4 days. And I want you to start, it's not enough to have a position on something, but then have the courage, have the guts to be able to say it. And then the thing that you're positioning on, what do you feel about the opposite of that? And say that as well. You guys got it? This is important. This is really important. And if you don't have that, you're never going to be able to have enough attraction, enough magnetic action that's going with you. Yesterday, for Election Day, I put up this post, and the post was just a picture of Harris on one side, Trump on the other side. It said, "Who do you believe is better for healthcare?" Okay, that post has had over 50,000 views, has had, I think, close to 1,000 votes on it. So many comments. And by the way, it ended up leading to a whole bunch of people viewing like my page and my profile and all my stuff, and people buying my programs and whatnot. It was just having the guts to even put that out there. I didn't say, oh, I believe this or I believe that, and just letting people just go at it, right? And it's just because I just want to know where people's positions were and what was your position on it. Guys, you've got to be able to do that, or you're not going to be able to make it over the next 4 years. I don't care who's in power, okay? So that's one of the first things I think is really important. Position. You got to believe in something. You got to know what it is. It doesn't have to be 50 things. It can be 3 things, but then you also have to poke fun. You have to call out the things you don't believe in, the opposite of that. And I believe that's a huge component of becoming the attractive character. Okay, let's talk about the next part. Let's talk about disposition, because I think this part's really important. I want you guys to really listen up to this. Remember, attractive character equals position times disposition. Okay, so we talked about the position. We talked about what Trump had. We talked about what Harris had. Now let's talk about the disposition. Now, could we all agree? Come on, let's keep it 100. All right. So I know some of you, you're the Trumpies, and you're like, oh my gosh, he keeps it so real, and he's personable, and he's like the coolest dude ever. Okay, all right. But I think we can also agree that his disposition can be pretty rough around the edges. Okay, all right. That he sometimes creates division in just his rhetoric. I think even most of my Trumpy friends will say, yeah, G, like he's a little rough. He's a little rough, but I do like his policies. I believe he's a stronger leader. Okay, fine. Okay, that's cool. But his disposition can be a little rough around the edges. All right, he's not going to be auditioning for any Santa Claus this year. All right, he's not cool like that. All right, but here's the thing about disposition that I think is important. Disposition is not just about if people like you. Disposition also, and this is what I've learned so much from watching Trump over the last 18 months, disposition is also knowing that if you stand for something, and even if your disposition is very rough around the edges, how do you act and how do you respond to obstacles? You guys, 58% of Latino males voted for Trump this time. There was more than double the amount of black men that voted for Trump this time. Why? You guys want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because I've talked to many of my Latino male friends and many of my black male friends. Now, I did not vote. Well, okay, we won't even get into me. Okay, but what happened? Can I tell you what happened? They actually felt as though his disposition improved over the last 4 years. Wait, did he stop saying crazy things? No, he didn't. But they felt as though different circumstances, obstacles he was facing were happening to him. And they saw that he continued to get up and fight. He initially had all the lawsuits. He had the convictions. He had, many people feel as though if he didn't get elected president last night, homeboy would probably be heading his way to jail, right? But there became a point where there's a group of people out there that saw that, you know what? He's now the underdog. There are people that want this guy in jail. And some people that hated him are like, whoa, we're getting too carried away. Guys, listen, for those of you that are the Harris Team Harris, I'm telling you, this is what happened. And his disposition to many people that was absolutely like terrible before, they were like, I'm kind of now rooting for this guy, right? Just by human nature, we start to root for the underdog. When that assassination attempt happened to Trump, his disposition changed again. The fact that he got his again, allegedly, he got his ear nicked, and people are gunning to kill this guy. And he continued to say, I'm going to continue to do it. His disposition with people are like, wow, he's resilient. He's strong. He's a fighter. Half the stuff he says is out of pocket, but he's a fighter. He's resilient. So even though he wasn't very nice with a lot of his words, his disposition with people changed. And because his disposition changed, people started to look at him as much more, I don't know if to say inspirational, but they started looking at it as strong, resilient, and they want that in a leader. So let's bring this back to you. How can your disposition improve? I'm not saying for you to be a people pleaser. I think a lot of people think, oh, the disposition is be a people pleaser. No, I'm saying, do people see that you're resilient? Every single time obstacles come your way, are you now going into hiding? Are you only putting stuff on social media when everything's good? Are you talking about when things are rough? Are you sharing that? Trump didn't have a choice anyways. Like everything he does is in the public, right? Okay. So they're all after him to get him. They're all after him to praise him. Either way, it's in the public. Okay. But what happened is people started seeing that this guy's having obstacle after obstacle after obstacle after, yo, this old dude, man, it's like, this guy's going for it. And I'm telling you, enough people that even though they still don't care for his disposition, had started looking at him a little bit differently. And because of how he was handling obstacles, their disposition, or what they perceived as Trump's disposition, changed in their eyes. And it was enough to get those people to vote for him. And it was enough to be able to flip this election in his favor. So that's my question to you. Are you an attractive character? Do you have a position on anything? And are you willing to convey that? How is your disposition? And I'm not talking about, oh, everybody loves me. Okay, I'm not gonna. No, you need to stand for something. But then also, how are you when the obstacles come your way? What do you do? And I truly believe those are the two things that got that dude elected. They made it about the people, and the Democratic Party didn't with regards to not having a primary. So the people never got to pick. And the attractive character. And I believe if you focus on becoming a much stronger, attractive character, having stronger positions, having a much stronger and more resilient disposition, I believe that the next 4 years will be amazing for you, regardless of who's in power, regardless of who's controlling the Senate, who's controlling the House, you can win. So I hope this has helped you. I hope this has served you. If you have any comments or any takeaways, please put them below, or you can just follow me on IG or Facebook or whatnot, and just tell me what you think there. But I would love to hear your guys' comments below, and I want you guys to win. And I'm telling you right now, in 2016, I wasn't a big fan of Trump. I'm still not a big fan of Trump. But in 2016, I said, you know what? I'm an entrepreneur, and my job is to solve problems. And regardless if Trump's in power, or Obama's in power, or Bush is in power, or Biden's in power, there's going to be problems. And my job is to solve problems. And the only way I'm going to solve problems is if I have a very clear position on the things that I can help people with, of what I'm for and what I'm against. And if my disposition, meaning that I'm willing to show up and show out regardless of what's going on, if I'm willing to do that, I'm going to win. And I believe if you do that, you're going to win. So that's what I want to see for you. I want you to win. All right? Until next time.
That was easy.